When you're a parent and you have a child, it's very important to remember where your children are at. So then your friend or somebody who's picking them up can just go and pick them up, which will make it 10 times easier. Keep that in mind. Hi everybody, it's Mena. Welcome back to my channel, or if this is the very first video that you're seeing of me, then welcome to my channel. Please be sure to hit that subscribe button down below. If you didn't already, I post every day except for Tuesday and Friday afternoon sometimes, and today I have a coffee and story time video. And today's coffee and story time is a story about how my friend and I missed gymnastics because we didn't know where my friend was, and her parents forgot where she went, and then it turned out later on she was at her grandma's picking up her gymnastics stuff, and we missed gymnastics because they didn't tell us that. So this is a story just to let you guys know, if you're a parent and you have a child and you have to leave your children at family or friends' houses, it's important to remember where your children are at, so then their carpool can pick them up if they're going out to do activities with their friends. Just keep that in mind, and it makes it really easy for other parents to help you out. So because it just shows responsibility in parenting. And this is the same friend in the story about how we were late for swim lessons because my friend's parents didn't know where she was. And if you didn't see that story, I'll link it down below. I'll actually redo that video in another video, maybe later on today when I have time. And this time that we were going to gymnastics and we were supposed to pick her up, but we didn't know where she was. And we were not in the mood to do a wild goose chase for her. So I'm going to get started, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. So I think this started maybe 23 or 22 years ago. I was in the 3rd grade. I was going to gymnastics with my friend, and we were in the same class and at school and in gymnastics. So we were going to get ready to go. My mom had picked me up from school, brought me home, and I got all my stuff ready for gymnastics. I got my leotard on and my clothes on over my leotard. Please ignore that. That was on my tablet. And we're all ready to go. So we realized we had to go pick my friend up, and my mom calls my friend's house on the home phone, because back then we didn't really have cell phones, so we couldn't really communicate with cell phones too well. So my mom calls my friend's house, and then my mom's on the phone with my friend, and she goes, "I have no idea where she is." And my mom's like, "Okay, that's not really very helpful." And usually with parents, they usually will keep track of where their children are at. But my friend's parents, half the time, I'm gonna give a quick backstory. A lot of times when we were picking my friend up for activities or these to do like gymnastics, ballet, or swim lessons, we kind of like had trouble figuring out where my friend was, because she'd ship from place to place to place because her parents were on a heavy work schedule. And so a lot of times we had no idea where she was, because she would go from place to place to place. Like she'd either be at her grandmother's, she'd be at, I think, maybe her daycare, or she'd be at her house or wherever. I don't know. I mean, it's just, she would go all over the place. So we, I think, had a few phone numbers for her. So we called a couple places, but like I think we called we had numbers for her older siblings. They didn't know where she was. And then we had a phone number for her grandmother, but her grandmother didn't answer the phone. So this made it really difficult for us. And we had already missed the gymnastics session. So my mom and I were pretty annoyed that we were asked to pick my friend up, but her parents didn't know where she was. And we went around, looked around trying to figure out where she was. And it wasted all the time of me going to gymnastics. And because it was a Wednesday that day, the very next day, I came to school. I approached my friend and I said, "Hi, how are you?" And she goes, "Good." And I was like, "We were trying to find you yesterday because we were going to go pick you up for gymnastics and blah, 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 blah. And we didn't know, and we called your parents, but they said they didn't know where you were, blah, 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 blah." And she goes, I was at my grandma's getting my stuff for gymnastics, and I was waiting for you guys. And we were like, why didn't they tell us this? So after school, but I didn't say that to her because I didn't want to be rude. So after school, I communicate this to my mom, and my mom was pretty upset because we had called around looking for her, and we were not in the mood to drive around trying to find we called around looking for my friend because we were not in the mood to drive around on a wild goose chase for my friend to go and pick her up for gymnastics. And we had missed gymnastics only to find out that her parents didn't tell us she was at her grandmother's getting the gymnastic stuff. So my mom communicates this nicely to her parents and tells them that they need to tell us where she's at so then we know where to pick her up. And so my friend's parents apologized to us for that little confusion, so we were super polite about it, but we made it clear with them to pretty much tell us where she's at so then we don't have to run around drive around looking for her like we had to do one time. So the moral of the story is it's always good to know where your kids are at so then you can communicate this with their carpool just in case they're getting picked up by somebody or being driven to or home from school by somebody. It's just good to let them know so then they don't have to go around looking for them, and it's just very good to keep track of where your kids are at because that's not really good parenting when you don't know where your children are at and they're not home or they're wherever or blah, 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 blah. It's just always good to remember where people are at. So just in case you have somebody picking them up, like if they're at their daycare, it's good to tell their carpool they're at their daycare, or if they're at a relative's house, it's good to tell them they're at whatever relative's house. It's just really good communication just to do that with people that are carpooling, especially if their friends' parents are picking them up. So that was a story about how we missed my friend and I missed our gymnastics session because we didn't know where my friend was. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I hope this taught you that if you're parents, it's very important to know where your children are at, just in case they're carpooling with friends or family, so then they can go and pick them up wherever they're at. So then they don't have to call around to figure it out. It's just important to know exactly where your kids are at. So thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I post every day except for Tuesday and Friday afternoon sometime, and I'll see you in another video soon. Bye!